Hello, my name is Alexandria, and welcome to Song Lyrics That Are It podcast, a show where I share about lines from songs that have meant a lot to me. The point of this show is not for me to tell you what other artists meant when they wrote these songs, because I don't know. And the point of this show is not for me to tell you how you need to interpret or feel about these lyrics. I'm simply sharing my experience with them. And today I am talking about one of my favorite artists. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, I will show the album cover right here because I don't have a physical copy. As far as I know, they didn't release physical copies. But, and also, okay, I'm used to saying they because I thought this was a band, but when I read their Spotify recently, I learned that they put their lead singer at the front and they refer to Sky, which is the artist's name, as just the lead singer. So I've been saying them because I thought it was her and her two friends, but according to Spotify, it's just her, Sky. So SKY is her name, all lowercase. And the album that I'll be pulling lyrics from is called Good Grief. I will put a link in the description, both on YouTube and in the podcast, for you to listen to this album. As I said this, I just realized that's a good idea for all my podcasts. So I'm gonna write that down right now. And also I'm gonna get my iPad because the first song that I wanna talk about, it has a guest artist and I didn't write their name down, and that's not okay. But genre, I always start the same way with this. Well, actually, no, this one's easy. It's R&B/soul because I just saw it when I bought the album. I think it was yesterday I bought it. And it said R&B, and I'm like, perfect. So this is R&B. I feel like that's fairly obvious when you listen to it, but honestly, sometimes I'll listen to different artists. I'm like, I feel like this has an R&B vibe, and then it's considered pop, so whatever. But Sky says that she's R&B. I agree that she's R&B. That is the genre. R&B is honestly one of my favorite genres to listen to. It's a vibe always. Her voice is so beautiful. I learned of her from a podcast, I want to say in 2019, and I think this is around the time she first started releasing music. But this album, Good Grief, I'm not sure if it's an album or an EP. On Spotify it says album. It was released last year in 2021, so I'm just so excited. And the first song that I'll be talking about is called Something Tells Me, and it features Marcus Samaj, and oh my god, I just love it so much. This lyric is so simple, but I will explain why it stuck out to me. So the line from this song that I love is, "So hard to read my mind, but you do it all the time." And I love this lyric for two reasons. First of all, that when I grew up listening to songs, a common theme that I heard was that guys can't read your mind and you shouldn't expect them to, and it's super frustrating. And between all these songs that I would hear talking about this, and also just experiencing life and how like no one can read your mind and we should just learn to communicate, because like truly one of the reasons why I wanted to learn to communicate is because I saw that this was a common frustration in songs and movies, how guys or some significant person in a relationship did not know how to read like the main character's mind, which, communication, great tool to have. But the second reason why I love this lyric so much is because my boyfriend is so good at like knowing what I'm thinking and feeling. He's very intuitive and very wise. And so I just find it very funny and ironic that I grew up preparing myself to not experience exactly what I'm experiencing. And it's just very beautiful and healing. So that's why that lyric sticks out to me. The second song I want to talk about is titled Can't Change. And the lyric from the song that I love says, "Owe me a lot of sleep." When I read that yesterday, as I was listening to the song again, I just thought about those people and those relationships that have caused me enough stress to in fact wake up in the middle of the night and think about that relationship or that person. And I have just recently started sleeping very well, fairly consistently. And so I got a little frustrated and I was like, oh my gosh, to have lost sleep just because someone wasn't acting right or someone wasn't treating me right was so unfair. And I just love the way that she phrased it. Not I lost the sleep because of you or I stay awake because of you, but she said, owe me a lot of sleep. Plain and simple. I love it. The last song I'm going to talk about is what the album is titled after, Good Grief. But I want to talk about 3 different sections in this song because that song from beginning to end, I listened to it and I'm like, yep. But here's the first section of the song that I want to pull lyrics from is what I believe is the pre-chorus. And it says, it's long. It says, nice to myself, care for my health, taking good advice on how to let go and how to move forward. And I raised the price to be in my life, and now I pay the tab. I let your debt go. I let myself grow. Now, I'm going to break that whole pre-chorus down into 3 different sections. 1, 2, 3, just kidding, 4 different sections. So the first part, nice to myself, care for my health. That's just something that I live by and have lived by for a while. So hearing that in a song was so powerful for me. The importance of being kind to myself and making sure that I am healthy holistically is just life-changing and it's healing, and I just loved hearing that in a song. The next part, taking good advice on how to let go and how to move forward. It's funny, when I was thinking about this line in particular, I was reminded how I don't do super well in the moment taking advice. And so the advice that I took on how to let go was actually this song, listening to the song over and over and really considering how important it is to not hold on to things. Forgiveness can be hard for me, and that's unhealthy to hold on to it. So just listening to this song over and over was the advice that I took on how to let go and how to move forward. And the next part, and I raised the price to be in my life, and now I pay the tab. I loved that line because so often I have thought to myself, not even so often, but more recently in my process of healing through different things, I've thought to myself, you know what? This person has taken so much from me, or even this situation has taken so much from me. And so actually combining the last 2 parts, and I raised the price to be in my life, and now I pay the tab. I let your debt go. I let myself grow. That I don't even feel the need to break that down. The idea of, instead of having this, I'm going to break it down right now. Instead of having this mindset of this person owes me, this situation took so much from me, instead of that, going, you know what? I'm going to have higher standards. I'm going to make sure I meet those standards, and I'm not just looking around going, who's going to treat me right? Who's going to treat me right? First things first, I'm going to treat myself right. I'm going to make sure I'm healing. I'm going to make sure I'm taking care of myself, loving myself. Do I need people and healthy relationships? Absolutely. Am I going to sit around and wait for people to treat me healthily and well to get the love and the care that I need? Absolutely not. And I will not hold on to the bitterness and the unforgiveness. And I'm going to make sure I am setting the example for me and for others, so that when they look at me and they go, oh, I wonder what I can get away with, they can see how I treat myself and know what they can and cannot get away with. No hate, all love. That's the vibe that I get from this song. Like, when I listen to the song, I just feel this sense of, I'm going to be honest. Like, if you listen to the song, you'll understand what I'm saying. I'm going to be honest, you messed up, but guess what? It's okay, because I'm going to take good care of myself, and I'm going to make sure that there are healthy boundaries set in place. Oh my God. So, the second lyric that I want to talk about is from the second verse. And in it, she says, you're a healer, felt it from the start. Okay, I wrote down felt in from the start, but I'm pretty sure it's you're a healer, felt it from the start. That line also makes me think of my boyfriend. He is a healer. You know, the people tell me all the time I have a peaceful presence. That is something that I contribute naturally. And my boyfriend is just a healing presence. It's something that he contributes naturally to the relationship, and I am forever grateful. Super simple, super sweet. And then the last lyric I want to talk about is from the bridge. And in it, she sings, everything can change in a minute of time, so you gotta give it some time. I love that because when I heard that lyric, I remember thinking to myself, and I still do, it's so easy to expect things to change in a minute for the worst. And hearing this line makes me want to believe that things can change in a minute for the better. So I'll literally take that line and almost pray it out and believe for good things to happen. Not always waiting for the shoe to drop, but believing and having expectation for good, beautiful things to happen in just a moment. And then to settle in and be willing to wait for those moments to happen. So please go check out her music. Her name is Sky, S-K-Y, all lowercase. The album is entitled Good Grief, and you can listen to it wherever you can find music. Maybe I'll also link her Instagram, because I know for sure that has all the links for all her music. So Instagram, I'm writing that down. All right, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Please go check out Sky's music. I will be back next week. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye. Oh wait, should I tell you where to find me? All my links are down below. I have my Linktree link down below. You can find my where you can listen to this podcast on podcast or on YouTube. It also has my TikTok linked, and it has my Monday podcast, which is called You're Doing It. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.